Welcome. Today, I'm talking all about 2025. I'm going to give you some major predictions of things that I see happening, both from the astrological perspective, but also from my intuition. Some of you know that I was a remote viewer trained by some of the Stargate program people, and I'm also particularly intuitive. I have done psychic readings as my main job, including talking to the dead while I was in my 30s. So I have many different tools in my predictive toolkit. And so I'm going to talk about some of the intuition and some of the astrology today and give you about 10 to 15 big events of 2025. But I'm also going to talk to you about your sign. And I'm going to talk to you about what I would do if I was you. I'm going to give you my astrological guidance in a nutshell. And I'll tell you why I say that. So, well, I do have my 2025 navigational guidance quarter by quarter product for sale below, 2-hour video, guidebook that goes with it. Although I put out 30-minute mini videos for each sign for 2025 on my playlist here. This is different. I'm going to tune a little bit deeper underneath the surface into what it is you spiritually need to know based on your chart. Because, you know, guys, we're living in a matrix. This is a simulation. This is not what you think it is. Call it a dream, make it a happy dream. Wake up in the dream. Take your pick. Waking up in the dream is Buddhahood, Jesushood, Krishnahood. All right. At least being aware it's a dream, you can begin to work with this matrix dream simulation we call reality. It's called the Leela, the play of God. And in the spirit of that, I'm going to offer you some spiritual suggestions to get through 2025 based on your sign, because it's going to be a bit of an intense year. The first half of the year is duck, everybody. Holy man. Second half of the year, well, some economic turbulence may show up. For the most part, is way better. I know. So I think this is a 2-part year in so many ways. I have covered on multiple videos and will continue to do things like talk about the rarity of the sky with a mini trine between the major outer planets. And I've also talked already and will continue to talk about the rarity of the North Node Rahu traveling through Western tropical Pisces, which is amazing. But then we add to it that we have Jupiter moving through his exaltation in Cancer, and we haven't seen that since the late 1800s. And so there's something about the rarity of the sky that we can also bring into this conversation. But more importantly, what I want you to know is part 1 and part 2 are very different energies. And by the time we move to June, you'll get to know what part 2 is about. This kind of spiritual guidance I'm giving you is mostly for how to navigate the first 5 to 6 months of 2025, which I think for most of us will feel challenging in many different ways. It really does depend on your sign. Now, I hear you. What sign do I listen to? Well, first of all, if you go in my description box below, you'll see that I've created a couple of free offers for you. You just scroll all the way down, hit the more button, go to the bottom. It's called Freebies. You can get my How to Cast Your Chart in Whole Sign Houses, the traditional ancient tool. And then if you know your time, you'll also discover your rising sign. Your rising sign is you in the game of life, playing the character you've chosen to play. It is like the avatar in a video game. The sun is a real you who jumps into the game to play, eternal, unborn, never dying, never changing. The deepest part of you is your solar energy. And you can listen for your sun sign and your rising. Character is your rising. Solar energy is your deeper self. And in today's video, I'm going to encourage you, when I give you guidance for your sign, to listen to your sun sign, because the solar chart is more aligned with the deepest part of who you are. And it's interesting because the older I get and I move away from this character that I've been ingrained into being, the Aquarius rising, from my childhood, from my life stories, from the intention of my soul to play that character, I find that I'm living more truly from the solar essence of my Aries sun. So maybe you too can notice that in your life. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to check out. If you listen, please, today for your sun sign when I give you guidance to navigate this at a spiritual level. Because ultimately, like the Aboriginal Australians talk about, in the dream time, we make the reality. By the time I hold this mug in my hand, by the time I put this microphone on, because I have a YouTube channel to talk to you, I have created this in another realm of existence, in the dream time, at the level of the soul. And the architecture of reality is coming from other than reality. When you try to move your life around by changing your circumstances, you're changing the pieces on the game board, but you're not changing the game. And where I want you to go in 25 is to change the game by recognizing the deeper layer of who you are. And in your sign, I'm going to give you the astrological reason, I have a suggestion for you on how to do that. Now we're going to talk world astrology. I am waiting for a phone call from like a medical app. It's just a pharmacy and I need a prescription renewal. So I'll probably have to pause. And if you hear a phone ring halfway through something, it is my sincere apology. A lot of people say they prefer this background. I'm glad you do. I'm going to see if these guys will sponsor me. Let me be affiliate for them. It's called the Aura app. The Aura device, it's got, different frequencies of sound. I've been absolutely in love with this. And in fact, I might play a frequency for us today. I don't know what frequency that is. Let's see. Wait, let me put that up a little bit. Now, I'm not sure I can keep this on and then it won't disturb my microphone and blot my own voice out. But guys, I listened to this. My sister got it to me for Christmas. I bought one for my daughter. Haven't given it to her yet. And you can change every frequency on here. And I swear I'm going to reach out to these guys and go, what a beautiful product. Plus white noise for sleeping at night as well. And it charges, but you can take it around. And I'm not even getting an affiliate link. I just love the soothing sounds. So maybe just for fun, hopefully it doesn't interfere with the microphone. I'll have a little soothing sound behind us as I talk about 2025. Oh, if you're new to my channel, hey, welcome, by the way. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm a traditional Western astrologer using the tropical zodiac, and I'm particularly fond of the fixed stars and minor asteroids, which I cover in a lot of my detail in my stuff. I'm going to turn this off because just in case it makes my mic go wonky, but in the future, I'll figure out if I can use this soothing sound when I'm talking to you guys. So I'm not going to share charts. I'm not going to show you Russia, and I'm not going to show you Trudeau's chart and Pierre Poilievre. I love you Americans can't say his name. Well, it's Poilievre in French. Poilievre. But in English, just say Poilievre, Pollev, like Poilievre, like Evo. And as you know, one of my predictions, I had made a massive list in December, right? But I didn't have time to get this video till now, was of course that Trudeau will resign or be forced to step down by non-confidence vote. Well, our prime minister has actually said he will resign once they find somebody in a leadership race to replace him. But the point is, prediction number one for my fellow Canadians, there will be a spring election, and Poilievre will be the ultimate winner. There'll be a forced election from a non-confidence vote when Parliament reopens in March, and there will be a snap election. And by mid-May to early June, that election will have happened, and we will have a new leader. That leader will be Pierre Poilievre. That is my prediction, no matter who the Liberals pick, even if it's a woman. And Christy Clark she's a former premier, has more creds than any other woman to be able to pull off this act. I do not believe that they will win. I believe the zeitgeist of Canada is looking for fiscal conservative energy to take a very downdraft in our dollar, our economy, our housing market out of a tailspin, and move away from policies that do not allow for the use of fossil fuels or other energy sources that we have, and stop taxing the everyday Canadian on the use of their car or truck, because we have huge taxes on using gas here and home heating and oil. And that's because we had a very progressive government around the environment, but taxing the people didn't change the environment. It just made the people poorer. And so what we have is a crisis in our economy. So number one, I don't know how many we've got here. I might have 15 predictions. We will see the turnaround. It's in the astrology of the charts as well, of the downfall of Trudeau. That downfall began with the Chiron solar arc on his midheaven in the 2021 election. I said it would be the most wounded term of his life, and it has been one scandal after the other, and he has basically been forced to resign by his own party. So the astrology suggests Trudeau's gone. The astrology on Pierre Poilievre's chart suggests that he's our next leader. I don't need to tell you why. I'll do that as the election starts to build. Prediction number two, the Russian-Ukraine war is coming to a close. It is a war that was born out of an era that connected to Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. It was a war that has a lot to do with policies in the United States connected to expansion of NATO that are coming to a close from Donald Trump. Without showing you the astrology of why that war between Russia and Ukraine is going to end in 2025, which I can do in another video, I just want you to know my prediction is, on many counts, intuitive at all, the Russian-Ukraine war is closing down and will likely be over before the end of the first half, before June of 2025. But it will be over at least by the end of the year. So we have the Trudeau story. We have the Russia war coming to an end. We have hot and we have dry. Mars is going to create a hot, dry climate. He's already doing it with the drought in the Los Angeles area, causing the crazy wildfires for our burning as we speak. Now, there's a lot of reasons that I'm declaring this the driest year, like the year of the drought, the year of dryness. There's multiple reasons. It has to do with Uranus in Taurus over Algol, which connects to the Dust Bowl era. It has to do with Mars's movement through the sky in a new way, connected to a Pluto and Aquarius, air, and a fire god keeps acting in tandem with the energy of air. There's also the sense that with this drought and dryness story, we're going to be propelled collectively as a society to begin to look at the environment in a new way. Some of what I'm seeing happen in 2025 is the discovery of reasons for climate change that are not connected to human consumption of fossil fuels, although those are exacerbating. There will be some breakthrough science for a new climate model, perhaps connected to the sun and the sun's cycles, or to the glaciation and ice age cycles of the earth. But what I'm saying is the energy of the intensity of the droughts and the dryness, particularly in the United States, four corners, because the asteroid Hopi is highly activated in the sky on the inauguration chart of the United States, indicating the part of the world that is Arizona, New Mexico, Utah/Colorado could have extensive damage from water depletion in 2025. Sorry for the bad news. The good news is new climate models show up. Part of the new climate models that show up, my sister will have to timestamp this, is AI, is the AI models. It's not just AI that allow us to be able to understand climate parameters under a new model or new understanding, but it's also the quantum computing chip called Willow. So I believe I said, I should count my numbers here because I'm losing track. Number one, Poilievre wins the election in Canada, probably in the spring. Number two, the Russian-Ukraine war ends. Number three, hot, dry, and drought, with a new model for climate change. Number four, there's going to be a massive paradigm shift in many science areas because of the quantum AI in tandem with the quantum computing chip Willow. Not only will there be new climate models emerging that give us a greater understanding about how to cope with climate change and what is fueling climate change, but also we're going to see physics, quantum physics paradigm shifting breakthroughs in which the way we thought it worked, which is relativity, MC equals MC squared, will go out the window. And there's going to be a new understanding of the basic parameters of physics. I think this will happen in the fall of 2025. What I also want to say is that the quantum chip, the Willow quantum computing chip, just broke a barrier for error correction, is what it's called. And they have like 6 or 7 stages to go before this is a usable chip. I think the big surprise for the chip galvanizing to another level and maybe jumping 2 levels up, so it's at the 3rd level of what they want to see happen before this is a usable tool, is going to happen really quickly. And that by the time we get to the end of the summer of 2025, there will be announcements by the creators of the Willow chip of a massive expansion breakthrough in the timetable of this chip becoming active. Now, it's interconnected. AI and its rapid development can also fuel the rapid development of the Willow chip. And then the Willow chip will quantify or increase the success of the artificial intelligence itself as well. So that's a 2025 story. Okay, that's what I've got for you as number 4. Number 4 was breakthroughs in physics, breakthroughs in the quantum Willow chip and I gave you some timetables for that as well. Now, Donald Trump is under assassination harm's way again. Yes, he is. It's in lots of different charts for him. One of them has to do with his solar return. One of them has to do with the placement of Uranus back on his midheaven, closely aligned on the 21st of March. Some people are calling it the Beware the Ides of March. I agree, but it could be the Beware the Ides of mid-March to mid-April, where if Donald Trump is going to be in any kind of difficulty with his wellness physically, that's his window of concern. For some reason, I keep hearing the word coma and seeing the idea of a coma around him, meaning that he may survive an attack or survive a other foul play attempt. It could be something that looks like a heart problem, but it's really, a POISON, because of course, that's another way that intelligence agencies or people, dark forces do things. But I don't know. I'm not pro-Trump or pro-Biden or anti-Harris, or I'm Canadian. I'm just telling you, Donald Trump's astrology looks like he may become a martyr of some kind. That's what I'm trying to point out. And J.D. Vance is a regent or prince in waiting. He's got Donald Trump's chart to a T, same midheaven, but not as close to Algol, but on Algol still, same Leo ascendant. And, when I looked at what we call his solar arc chart for J.D. Vance, I could see that within 2 years to 3 years of Trump winning or not winning, the ascendancy of great power comes for J.D. Vance. And so, in other words, if Trump hadn't won, I thought maybe J.D. Vance would be running for the presidency in 2 to 3 years, starting to build his constituency. But because he's now the vice president, this same chart looks like he is indeed he's already in the orb of the rise within the next few months. Within the next 12 months, J.D. Vance can rise to power beyond where he is. This expires at 3 years. So there's something going on here already that tells me that J.D. Vance is going to be the replacement person at some point. It is my sincere hope that Donald Trump is not harmed. It is, because I don't want anybody to be harmed, and I don't care who that person is. All right. So especially from foul play. So that's my hope. So that was number 5. Donald Trump faces his 3rd assassination attempt, probably mid-March to mid-April. If he gets through that, I think he's fine. He's fine for at least a couple of years, and then he's going to hit some turbulence again. And in a couple of years, that could just be old age health issues rather than foul play. Number 6, the stock market will take a tumble in the United States, the real estate market with it. The real estate market is already on a downdraft in the United States, but the stock market as well hasn't shown signs. It's in a irrational exuberance at this point, with the S&P having 4 basket stocks that really drive the whole thing. I think there's going to be a market downturn. I'm guessing intuitively, but also somewhat astrologically, that it may occur in the second quarter or the third quarter, probably the bridge between those 2 quarters. So April, May, June. No, not really. May, June, maybe May, June, July, somewhere like there. But once we get Jupiter moving into exaltation in the United States chart of banks and banking industry in the Sibley chart, things should look better. And that's June the 9th. So I'm going to then say probably more like an April, May stock market turbulence could occur, but I'm just going to say that's an obvious. I'm not your financial advisor. Do not make investment decisions based on an astrologer, psychic, or reader, but that's my go-to at this point. That is number 6. Prediction number 7. I do think there's going to be a major earthquake, we always have those major earthquakes around the world. I really sat with that, and I think it's going to be unfortunately more of a California or North America earthquake, but it's a major earthquake. It's live to tell the tale, tell your kids you live through. Everyone talks about it, not just one of those 7.5s or something like that, something much, much more intense. The other option is Japan, but both of them look rough on their astrology for a potential earthquake. So let's just go with the earthquake storyline. And of course, a coastal earthquake can produce tsunami as well. So earthquake, tsunami storylines. Now, also, I'm looking at my notes. The UFO disclosure story will get more and more intense. Okay, so the AI, unidentified UAP objects in our sky. There's 2 kinds. There's the drone-like things, and then there's the orbs. The orbs are like plasmoid, and they move in ways you can't, they can zip in and out of existence. They seem to morph or mutate into something else. And there are also objects that look pretty solid, and they're also both probably military, Raytheon, anyone, and some of them are non-military. Some of them are from non-human intelligences. And the reason they're both is because it's pretty well clear to me intuitively and otherwise that we have had resource sharing of technology between intelligences that are not what we would say human, because they could be from under the earth, they could be from under the sea, they could be from another dimension, they could be from another planet. I am an experiencer. I was with John Mack as one of his small groups in the early 90s. His book Abduction, if you haven't read it, he's a Harvard professor, is about people who experience non-human contact. And I am one of those people. And so I know that there's non-human intelligence. You don't have to convince me of that. I've been intimately involved in that. And I've had witnesses to things that have occurred to me and to my daughter. I mean, it runs in families. And so it's been multiple witness events. I don't mean just UFO sightings. So the revelations that I'm seeing by the end of 25, clear and present, truth, we are not alone. And now this is going to be a big difference in people's understanding of reality, especially if you have fixed beliefs, like a religious belief that does not allow for that. So please be willing to relax about the whole thing. So one of the things about this alien abduction or encounter or contact or unidentified objects is that it's going to start to become something that by the end of 25, a lot of people consider not necessarily normal, but something that is not fringe, not crazy, and not just false flag, and psyops. No, there's other things going on there. And I do think that we're going to end up with a kind of shift of consciousness connected to the idea that there are people that aren't people and they're here to help. And yes, maybe some of them aren't, but most of them are. So that's my prediction number 8. The orbs UFO thing becomes a huge shift. And I really tried to tune into which month that kind of, with all the disclosure stuff kind of brimming in the background right now and the congressional disclosure. I've done a whole video on this. Please check it out on my channel. This is a cycle of astrology as well. Astrology correlates and maps onto disclosure, contact, and sightings episodes. And part of it is the Pluto-Neptune cycle that started with the conjunction in the 1800s, which was the airship wave in like 1876 to 96, and then now we're having the sextile between those two planets happen in 1949, 50. Sorry, like the Roswell late 40s into the early 60s. Then we had another wave occurring in the Gulf Breeze incident, the 80s through to the Whitley Strieber communion, early 90s, New York Times bestseller. And that's more about contact, but we also have Gulf Breeze sightings. These times I'm telling you are peaks. And I've done a whole video on it. It's sunk in the algorithm. Maybe it was suppressed. And then the next peak, we're in it now. There is an astrological correlation between, we're in the third peak of an episode of sightings that was triggered by a conjunction between Pluto and the god of what's hidden and in another realm, the other world, the underworld, and what we can see or envision or interdimensionally see, Neptune. And this trine between Pluto and Neptune, again, a trine. The sextile is happening this summer, but it's literally a story that takes us through 2025, 26 into early 27 that will replicate, like a peak cycle of encounters, sightings, etc. There's also another cycle at play here, and it's the asteroid Urania over every 7 years over the Sagittarius ascendant of the United States, an outer space asteroid, meaning space astronomy. So while we also have breakthroughs with contact, we may also have breakthroughs with astronomy. That is like the way we understand the stars. Maybe we'll find life on another planet like Proxima b. This is an exciting time to be alive, guys. Exciting time to be alive. That was number 8. And there's also another cycle. There's so many cycles. There's a Saturn cycle as well, connecting to which planet? Oh, it's all in my video. I'll put a link to that video for you guys who are into UFOs and aliens in the description box below. I covered this a few months ago in November, December. As I said, the algorithm pushed it down, or you guys don't give a flying F. That's fine. I know some of you do, but a lot of you didn't. So number 8 was the orbs, the disclosures, and the more of that increasing. Oh, I was going to pick a month. What was I going to pick for a month? I just had a feeling like which month is the month to behold, the sky is alive with aliens, you know? It's not Independence Day, but I think it could be a big behold in the month of July. Okay. So look for some major activations in July of 2025. Okay. That was number 8. If I'm counting right, my timestamper will correct me if I'm wrong, but these will be timestamped. China and Taiwan. There's going to be a brinksmanship and there's going to be a de-escalation. And then there's going to be an agreement and a solution in 2025. Does that sound crazy? Now, China is the industrial might of the world, and the United States, I would say, is becoming the digital might of the world. But what I'm thinking, I mean, Trump wants to take Greenland. Why? Because there's uranium there, there's minerals and natural resources he can use and not have to depend on any of that from China. And does he really want to take it? No, he wants mining rights and agreements, probably. But he may actually try to co-opt Greenland. I don't think it's going to look like that. But Greenland can go for independence from, this is going to tie into the China-Taiwan, independence from Denmark. They have the right to apply for independence and vote on that. And they've done that. They made noise that they want to do that lately, recording January 9th. And if they do, then they, as an independent 60,000 citizens of a big ice sheet, Greenland, can make a collective decision about how they want to engage with Donald Trump and the United States. To me, it would be like offshore mining. It would be rights to use the minerals and to bring big developers like, big mining companies from the United States into mine the land and giving money back to the people of Greenland. So that, 60,000 people, I believe, imagine everyone could be a millionaire, right? That's like that's doable. So there will be something happening there. The reason I'm bringing it up with the China-Taiwan story is Donald Trump has been known to have said that he sees China as a competitor, not as like a mortal enemy, whereas Joe Biden apparently saw China as a mortal enemy, like an existential enemy. And a competitor is a different story. And what I'm wondering aloud as I tune into the energy here is that, as the United States moves away from any fear of being dependent on some of the rare minerals and uranium and other things that are in Greenland natural resource wise, that they can basically lay off their continual fight with China. And Donald Trump runs on the art of the deal. He'd be happier to have a deal that he helps broker between Taiwan and China than he would be going to war over a piece of land that has nothing to do with America, right? So will Donald Trump be alive to do that? Here's the question, because of an earlier prediction. If he survives, the third attempt, and he does seem to have an angel on his shoulder and he's not a martyr, then for sure. And if he doesn't, even so, JD Vance allies with some of the mindset that Donald Trump has and brokering a deal with China. Now, it could happen anytime, actually, as he's going into office. That the escalation won't look like China actually invading Taiwan. I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe what it would look like is putting more military ships in the sea around Taiwan, and sort of like a saber rattling exercise, and then Trump coming in, or the administration coming in, to try to tamp that down and make a deal. So, Trump ran on an anti-war platform. I don't care if you're a Democrat and hate his guts. If he could reduce, there's two kinds of imperialism, right? Covert and brash. Brash means I'm telling everyone I'm invading Greenland and taking Canada and, whatever. I want the Panama Canal back. That's brash imperialism. If you speak it out loud, you just share what you're thinking. And some of that is also negotiating room. I'm going to take everything. No, I'll take just some of it. It's just the way he operates. Bluster, bold, brash imperialism. But a lot of the United States administrations have been covert imperialism, which is to put regime changes and overthrows of regimes into the structures of reality through covert means, and really take the United States to wars it had no business being in. And just like the fall of Rome and imperialistic Rome, because it spread itself too thin militarily, this is a similar threat that I'm sure Donald Trump has some cognition about. And so, becoming more isolationist and not getting involved in forever far off wars, that might be a policy that actually comes true. We shall see. but that was a prediction. So I'm sticking with the, there'll be an escalation and a quick de-escalation of the China-Taiwan crisis. That is number 9. Number 10 is pandemic stories. Okay. The H1N1 bird flu, avian flu, the virus, which has gone into cattle and cats, for example. The fear is it will be transmitted to the humans and be transmissible between humans, and that it will be a contagion of great proportion. And unlike the C virus, which had a very small mortality rate unless you were very elderly, which they should have explained to the people, or had many comorbidities, and became less virulent as time went on, that may not be true for this virus. And I'm having a little bit of concern about it. And I feel like it's in a coin flip in the universe about whether humanity needs a major pandemic with a virus that could have up to a 50 or 60% mortality rate, because that would devastate the whole of the globe and that would lead to anarchy and chaos. So what I've been tuning into is it's like a probability field, energetically. And when we look at the inauguration chart of the United States, there's a grand cross. And in that grand cross, we see Chiron and Hygeia for health matters, opposite the moon, and square Mars. And Mars is the god of plagues in the ancient world. That's just the T-square part of it. And at the top of the sky, it goes up against the midheaven, and it's in cardinal signs, a grand cardinal cross. And so there's a possibility of a flare of some viral problem yet again in the United States and Canada and the world in 2025. But then I have this feeling that just as quickly as it becomes a fear factor, it becomes a de-escalated fear. And that's where I'm really confused myself. And one of the ways it could be is that the virus that transmits, if it does transmit between humans, although with the potential to be highly deadly or virulent, turns out to be less so. And, but as if, they always say if you're immune compromised, right, this could be a bad virus for you. But the question is, people are too suspicious of pandemic measures that were dangerous as well. And the C virus, plus some of the measures that were taken, can also be compromising of one's robust immune system, because that virus, the C virus, which was, made in a lab, it happens to also attack one's immune system. There's a study that came out that in the first 6 months or year after someone has had the C virus, they are like 10 times more likely to have antibiotics for a bacterial infection, because their native immune system has been compromised by the actual virus. But I'm going to say that this is a prediction number 10. Well, there is concern about this virus. I do not think it is going to be a problem. And although I would say if you have an compromised immune system, it would be very wise of you to bolster your health with vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, exercise, good food, healthy measures for living your life, so that your immune system is highly fortified. Because it really will be the case of immune compromised people could be harmed by any virus, and this one might be one of them. So my prediction then is, I believe the summer could bring, strangely enough, right? It's not even flu season. Well, maybe I shouldn't stick with the summer, but let me sit with it. For some reason, in the month of May, we may have a heightened concern about H1N1 avian flu, or we may have been able to overcome the threat of it. Something like that. May is a turning point regarding the question mark of H1N1. And that was the 10th thing I have, and that's all I've got. Now we're going to talk about your sign. There's many things I will be predicting on as time goes on in the United States and Canada and the world at large. For instance, I had a dream about a plane crash, and I survived, and so did everyone on it. I was on the plane, and it had like one of those Sully Sullenberger happy endings, but it was a major jetliner that landed safely despite the conditions under which it was under. I also had some concern, and still do, about Vladimir Putin, and he will be in the September timeframe or in the fall, either ill or moving out of power for some reason. Those things are like not as clear to me. So Putin in the fall, that plane crash, I couldn't get a time beat on, but I dreamt about it recently. I usually get, if I have a dream about a world event, like I did with the trade towers and stuff, it's usually around 6 months out from it coming true. So I remember I had a dream about I thought they were missiles coming in off the eastern seaboard of the United States into the land area, but I didn't know what they were. And I said eastern seaboard, maybe Chesapeake Bay, but it was really a very specific dream. And now it turned out to be more like the drone fiasco all over New Jersey and Pennsylvania and all the eastern seaboard states as well. We're having a huge amount of drone activity that was being filmed and recorded. And that dream about that event, I misinterpreted it as a dangerous thing off the water. But now they've tracked that most of drones were coming off the water. So that's what I was picking up on. So this plane crash dream that lands safely, and I'm in the plane. When I have a dream that's prophetic, I'm in the calamity. Like the trade towers, I dreamt I'm running down the stairs and the trade towers are shaking. I used to live under the trade towers in Battery Park City for a while when I was younger. And I'm Canadian, and the trade towers are shaking. And I'm running down with fire and shaking towers to escape. And that was 6-7 months before the trade towers collapsed. All right. So if there's going to be a downed plane that has a miraculous survival story where the pilot manages a miracle landing, we all need a good feel good story. It's probably somewhere in the summertime, midsummer. All right, because that gives me my 6-month window from the dream, earliest like May, June, July. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about your sign. So remember, I cover a lot of content here. I'm an all signs girl, and most astrologers don't. So if you like this kind of stuff, would you be doing me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe and help my channel grow to over the 100,000 mark? I'm trying desperately to get there. And at this point, I'm close. I'm recording when I'm about, oh my God, 4,000 subscribers away on January the 9th. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about your sign. And I'm going for the idea that I want you to level up this year. I want you to think about your life as if it's a dream. Walk around thinking about everything as a waking dream. I do this all the time, guys. Like I'll be out there and I'll hear an offhand conversation. It's called a cledon, Cledon. And I know I'm supposed to hear that person's conversation because there's something in it for me. And they'll say a word and I'm like, oh my God, that's a message for me. And like as in a dream, I look at everything around me and go, what does it symbolize? What does it mean? What's the deeper architecture of this moment? Because there's the nighttime nocturnal dream and then there's waking dreams. And neither of them is the ultimate place from which we are residing as souls, right? So multiple layers like in Inception. And, when the dreidel stopped spinning, instead of continually spinning, you knew you were in base reality. Go watch the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. There's a lot of movies that tell us, like The Matrix, like Inception, like The 13th Floor, that reality is multi-layered and there's something called base reality. And this ain't it. This ain't it. So for all we know, we're all asleep in a yellow submarine because we all live in a yellow submarine. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Aries to Pisces. I'm going to talk about my guidance for your sign. I'm going to whip the chart up. So do I need to whip the chart up? No, because I'm not spinning it around. I'm not taking you to this or to that. I'm just going to tell you what I see for your sign and what I think intuitively you need to know based on the astrology. Okay. So it is an astrological storyline because I know what's happening for your sign. A bit of a change. My sister, who's my time stamper, needs really for me to show the chart because otherwise it's really hard to find the easy, fast stamping, so let's do it that way and make her life a little easier. Why does it look like I am frozen and not moving? Am I frozen and not moving in my own Zoom moment here? Hang on. No, it just seemed like my screen had frozen, but it didn't. That's okay. Whew. All right. So we're going to talk about your sign. I'm not going to spend here forever. It's just how do you navigate the first half of the year? And first of all, I probably should have said this for everybody. It's a 9-year. Before I go ahead and do all signs, I hope my time stamping sister catches this wave. This is astrologically a 9-year. That means it's simply you add up the dates of the day, 225, right? And it's a 9, 2025, and that's an ending. And it's also connected to the Hermit and the Tarot. It's also connected in astrology to planet Mars. Mars always cuts, ends, and severs. So it's about endings, completions, closing up shop, letting go of what you do not need or want in your life. We had this same energy in 2016, right? Add it up. 6, 2, 1. And so each of us is responding to this differently based on our personal year number, which we're not going to go into today. But nonetheless, closure and endings, releasing and surrendering, wisdom and truth, loneliness and solitude, inner search. The lantern of the hermit is looking for the truth. You want to lean into that energy. The first half of the year, Mars is retrograde till February 23rd. All of us feel like we just can't get our mojo. We can't get started. So we have this hermity energy. We have a low mojo for actions and decisions until February 23rd. We're just not sure what decision and action is the right direction. Depends on our Cancer sky. I already covered this in other videos. But that deeper archetypal overlay, that hermit energy with that Mars energy calls us to release something, to end, sever. Could be an addiction, a relationship, a life path, a home, a relationship to anybody in your life. A way of being in the world can be surrendered, released. The hermit can bring us in touch with deeper spiritual wisdom and truth as well. So these are things to consider. And the nodes of fate are moving into Western tropical zodiac Pisces and Western tropical zodiac South Node Virgo. Virgo asks us to move into sacred duties, to move into a more pure way of being and living, eating, asks us to go into the temple within ourselves. The Virgin Virgo energy is where can we purify by letting go of what is not pure in our lives, whereas the North Node expands our Piscean quotient, which, yes, depends on which house it's in for your sign. I've already covered that in a video for you about the nodes of fate changing signs, but just the sign of Pisces could bring an expansion of compassion, empathy, and awareness of the plight of the underprivileged, of people who need to be helped, of our own empathy and our own oceanic awareness that we are all one. These are spiritual impulses that can be awakened to look for the inner guru or the guru without, to look for that knowledge, gnosis, and knowing. You know, you can have the feeling and thinking apparatus of the being, but the knowing apparatus is the way to go. So the Sufi tradition would maybe call it the knowing heart. And I really want to say that we think a lot and we feel a lot, but a lot of us don't lean into what we need to know. And gnosis, just knowing it to be yes or no. And it's really hard for people to access the knowingness inside of them because they are obliterated by the emotions and the thoughts that get in the way of the still point and the knowing. And I see a lot of times that gets readers in astrology or tarot out of the neutral place, the non-attached place that is needed when you're doing psychic readings or intuitive readings or reading any kind of thing, from a crystal ball to a palm, to the tea leaves, to the tarot cards, to the astrological sky. You need to find the knowing place within you. And it is a still, unruffled, quiet pond within. And if you access that place, then you're going to be able to be highly fluid, flowing, and intuitive. And the North Node in Pisces can expand that as it draws from the well of the purification of Virgo that you're engaging in your life. So those are overarching themes for the world. Of course, Saturn will move into the sign of tropical Aries. Neptune will get there on the 30th of March, and Saturn follows suit. Saturn comes in quickly after. Is it the third week of May? And the gist is we end up with this Saturn-Neptune vibe for a few months in the summer. That energy is very different than anything we've ever felt before. We're going to move into the summer, June, July, August, into September 1st, and something feels quite different. And the difference is, of course, the fantastical and imaginal Saturn is being met by the realistic and concrete and make it tangible Saturnian impulse. And it can lead to many different things in the world. It can lead to global changes to do with, I'll do another video on that, in your own life. It can be a chance to pioneer an independent spirit into some new area where you can make your dreams true with the fire of initiation, Aries, and with the bold courage of Aries. And you'll see the summer allowing you to step out of the ways that you've been operating since Neptune moved into Pisces in 2011 and begin to operate from a new operating system of Neptune in Aries. So stay tuned for more content on how that might look for the world and you, but just awareness that that's coming up. Now we're going to go back into the signs, and I'm going to pull a card for each of you from a deck that I created called the Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck that I made in like 2016. Then somebody who I could call a biatch decided to steal the name of the title and create a book with Llewellyn, and she called it the Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck. Yeah, seriously. And I had just made it by myself And I asked Llewellyn to cease and desist, but I didn't want to buy, I didn't have energy or time or patience to get a lawyer, but I'm sure there was no copyright. It was just, it was on my website. Let me get the cards that I made. And I'll draw one for each of you. I'm back. I found them. And I also found, see, they're little handmade, like I literally made them myself. I glued them together. I got people to donate photos. If you go to my awakenedreamer.com blog, you'll find the write-ups for each of these cards, but you don't need them. They're self-evident. Also, a friend of mine who passed, unfortunately, in a car accident, her name was Marlene, made this deck for me, and I'm going to play with that too in honor of her. She was a friend that belonged to my ex-boyfriend, and she and I became friends. And so there we go. We're going to honor the dead, and we're going to play with a dead oracle. Go check it out, the Awakened Dreamer Oracle by this woman who stole my deck idea. All right. Okay, let's get going. I'm not going to stress, right? I'm going to talk about Aries first. I'm not so sure about spinning the wheel here because I want to show you the cards too, but we'll do my best. Okay, I'll change the recording when I'm not spinning the wheel. Aries, okay. All right, let's move into a time stamping mode. So I know we're not here forever, guys. This is for you, Aries. Okay, it's 2:39 in my time zone. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do... All right, here we go. I'm just checking the time. So I don't want to be here more than an hour for each sign. So Aries, first of all, the only thing I want to say spiritually is the tests are done. You're complete. Why? Because you've lost that nodal problem. The North Node was in Aries since July of 2025. And that simply means that you were expanding your sense of who you are as you pulled on a energy of the seventh house of committed long-term partnership that you either got more deeply spiritual with, you might have met a soulmate, a new partner, or you might have just pulled your energy away from your client, your audience, your marketplace, seventh house stuff, south node, let go, release, surrender. I'll give me as an example of an Aries sun. And as an Aries sun, I let go of seeing clients for the most part. I let go of many, many client sessions and blocked my calendar in 2024 and continue to do that now. And so while I saw clients, I saw vastly less clients than I had for 4 or 5 years before. Because the call of the sky for Aries was to pull away from the others and into yourself and to expand who you are by what you take yourself away from, what you release. And so a lot of you did indeed do something like I've done, include end relationships that were no longer right for you, friendships as well. This energy, though, that expanded you and helped you heal a chironic wound about who you are, your identity wound that you've been experiencing since 2019 as Chiron ingressed into your chart, you're now noticing that it's going to go back into the 12th house. And this is going to be the biggest deal, I think, because it feels like such a profound relief and a change of energy. As an Aries, you're going to notice that you're no longer feeling like everything that's happening in your life is intense, amplified, volume up. Instead, it's going to be feeling, and the striving for success and worldly success that may have accompanied the North Node from July of 2023 until January 11th, 2025 is done. No more eclipses in your sign. Instead, the North Node moves into that spiritual place of the 11th house, the moksha house, the spiritual liberation. We can expand your worldly success from international revenue, sure, but I'm going on the spiritual end. I've got a lot of content out already on this stuff. What is the spiritual truth of the North Node that moves through your 12th house? What does it offer you, especially knowing that Jupiter will collide with a cooperative endeavor starting on July 9th in exaltation of your 4th house, another moksha house, while flowing to the North Node in your 12th house? What can you expect that to be for, and what can you do with it? Now, I didn't expect this card. This is just a little bit of advice. There's a lot going on for each sign, but this is your spiritual advice. I didn't expect this card, taste life, right? Taste life. The question I'd ask is, do you taste it? Do you just gobble life? Are you too busy to really taste life? And that's a margarita, and I'm going to Mexico. Remind myself to have a good one of these in the end of January. But tasting life, as opposed to letting life just kind of go by. You know how sometimes you sit in front of the TV or computer or whatever you have, and you watch a Netflix show, or we binge on some Netflix, and you're eating your popcorn or your meal or your takeout Chinese food, and you're not even tasting it. You're not even tasting it. You're not present to it. Until when I look at this card that I created, to me, taste life is to be very present to the sensual and the deliciousness and the reality of what's here for all of us. That we have a way in which we can taste life. And another card I want to draw for you from this energy of what 2025's soul lessons are and how you can move with greater ease and flow into this crazy year. Watch the intro, part 1, part 2. I mean, basically the first half of the year is chaotic and the second half of the year is so much better. Now, this is a card of rest. Okay. This is a recuperation card, the 4 of Swords. And it literally is exactly what I need. I need to recuperate. Do you need to recuperate? Okay, look at that girl there meditating. Look at that vibe. She's got a foot massage going or something. So it's time to taste life and to rest, be still, meditate, recuperate. Can any Aries in listening in the comments? And I said it might be better in the beginning to listen for your sun sign, but listen for sun, moon, and rising. It's probably good for all of you. Tell me how many Aries want this 2025 to recuperate and to taste life. And finally, a friend of mine died years ago as well. Everyone around me dies. His name was Bill Ellis. You can't buy this. It was privately published, A Sailor's Journey into Unknown Spiritual Waters. A sweet old man. And I met him when he was already in his 70s, I believe. And this is one of the things I have from him, that he made a batch for friends before he died. And these are messages from spiritual teachers around the world. And I'm going to give you a message from his book, okay? The first thing I open to for you, Aries, enlightenment is the recognition that I am an infinite being, seeing and seeing from, observing and observed from a particular and localized point of view. Deepak Chopra. I'll read it again because you've got moksha, right? You've got the North Node in the moksha spiritual liberation Buddhahood house, the 12th. Well, you've got good old Jupiter exalted in your 4th house of moksha as well, which is to liberate from your family of origin, traditions, and culture. So Deepak says, enlightenment is a recognition I am an infinite being, seeing and seeing from, observing and observed from a particular and localized point of view. That's what you got. You got to take what I got, but that's what you get. I'll say, hopefully is this going to help you as a energy of the nodal axis shifts for 18 months through to summer of 2026, and you move into more chillax away. I'm going to chillax with you. By the way, 12th house, distant shores and far off lands. Jupiter exalts your 4th house. You might want to live abroad, change your home, go into some kind of like, downwind time. Solitude will be your best friend. Aloneness and contemplation will be your best friend. Jupiter can expand your home. Some of you might have a baby or a grandchild, but you're still going to be able to rest in the peace and the inner space that's possible under a nodal transit through the 12th house, as well as get rid of addictions and self-undoing. You got this. All righty. Let's talk next for the next sign, which is Taurus. I'm just trying to do this for my sister's time stamping back and forth, toggling between 2 modalities. Now, in 2025, as I mentioned in the intro, the first 6 months or so are one story and the second 6 months are another. And I'd call it chaotic and perturbing and positive and relieving, part 1 and part 2 for the world. In your chart, the thing I really want to draw your attention to, okay, because it's so much of a different energy that you have not yet experienced, is Pluto in the 10th house. It's angular and it's applying to your Taurus sun or moon or rising sign. And this is a game-changing focus. Yes, you had it like a slight flavor of it in March to June of 2023, and then January 19 to September 1st of 2024. But this was just a very teaser introduction. Now Pluto is full-time in that 10th house for you, full-time, guys, through till 2044. And that's going to profoundly revise, transform, your career objectives and your worldly success path and what you wish to achieve in this world. And honestly, it can make you powerful, but it's also a very different energy. And it's something you haven't been able to necessarily absorb. Let's call it absorb. And my tip for you in 2025, my suggestion is when we see July and the movement of Uranus, July, August, September to about November the 8th, Uranus will be moving through the sign of Gemini. Then you're going to be having a partner the sign of Gemini. Okay, let me reframe that. Uranus will be, did I say Uranus? I thought I said Jupiter. Uranus will be moving through the sign of Gemini in the summer, and you're going to be able to activate a huge, till November the 8th or so, a huge amount of energy. I believe it's July the 5th to the 8th of November. I'm going to go check my notes before I finish off with you. And electrical charges, zippity-doo currents, like incredibly swift electrical unexpected currents of change in career, money, and work matters, powered up by Pluto. Don't be afraid of this energy. Don't be afraid of it at all. And it's as if you're able now to actualize some radical, exciting, turbocharged life change, especially because we live our lives, all of us, oriented towards what's my purpose, what's my job, what's my career, how do I make money? Those are the normal questions that every person asks. And if you don't ask that, there's just something not normal about you. And the energy will amplify for you this increase of, I don't know, exhilaration could be a word. Oops, I didn't mean to go back to them. Exhilaration, fast moving change, a little rags to riches could happen under this in alignment with your career. But the ethers are saying, sorry about that, guys. The ethers are saying there is like something that needs to change. It's out of your control. It wants to bring money and power and career elements together in a brand new way. And July through to November, you'll begin to feel some of what this new storyline is about and what it means for you, because you will have Uranus ultimately in summer of 2026, add 7 years, doing an amazing shift of how you earn money. And it could mean you earn money through technology or the online world, or in an innovative, inventive, and inventive ways. Like you're going to go outside the box in how you earn money, and that Uranus transit's just starting to show you its flavor this coming summer of 2025. And Pluto in your 10th house, you have to talk to anybody who's an Aries sun, moon, or rising, especially Aries rising. They'll tell you about how you might go through a period of great ups and downs, death and rebirth, of what you're here to do, what you think your path is. But ultimately, Pluto will transform that part of your life so that you have power, and you have authentic power in the work you do in this world. So don't be afraid of it. I have an Aries sun. I've already gone through it, and here I am on YouTube to talk to you about it. And of course, the nodes of fate are shifting as well. And the South Node in the 5th house can bring a soulmate love relationship in the 2 years from January 12th at 18 months. And it can also expand with the North Node in your 11th house yourself into new social circles and social networks. So that's just a couple of teasers. But my spiritual guidance advice to you is what this whole point of this thing is, not the daily mundane. And I would say, and if I was in your shoes, I would not be attached to one source of income. This summer, I would be willing to surrender, release, and let go of any income sources that are dragging you down, and to be radically reinventive around possessions, money, earnings, and savings, because you can do it in a completely new way. And if you do, it will be very, very exciting and very, very successful. And particularly exhilarating is a good word for it, exhilarating. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a card from my little homemade deck, which is underneath my table. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 things about how to get through this year ahead. I have a feeling this is a longer video than I thought it would be. Oh my God. Recording on Thursday, January the 9th. Here we go. This is the first one for you. A lady made these earrings at a place called Tamagami in Northern Ontario. And I've lost touch with where she is on Instagram. She doesn't really have a big business. There's just a local girl making earrings. And I just thought they were just so cool, right? The colors are so beautiful. And I'm in purple to open up that good old crown chakra. All right. So here we go. What we're doing is drawing a card from my Awakened Dreamer Oracle for you for how to navigate best, okay, through the energies of 2025 as a soul. Oh, you get to rest easy too? Okay, so that's kind of an interesting card, because I was telling Aries to rest easy. There it is. I was actually at this, there's a little place on Salt Spring Island, Canada, that happens to be a rocking chair on the porch of this little Airbnb I've gone to several times. Rest easy. Okay, so rest easy. just go for it. Rest easy. I'm not even going to explain why. Why not? Don't we all need to rest easy? You've got that Taurus, Uranus, algal thing going on through your first house until full-time done. No more, no, Uranus will be out of Taurus by the way. You've been dealing with Uranus and Taurus since 2018. It's like having Kundalini activations. It's like having jackhammers of change. It's like having radical reinvention. It's like really a jolting, taking your fixed Taurus sign and telling you to like defix and change it up and don't get stuck, and having radical changes in your life that you didn't exactly expect as well. And your identity has been changing because of it. That's going to be done full time in the summer of 2026, but you still have a break from it, right? When Uranus moves this summer into your second house. Let's go ahead and do, my friend Marlene, her cards. And what does she say about this for you? My passed away friend who gave me this beautiful deck, maybe 2 years before she passed. Oh, you can't make this up. Restlessness, the Youth of Wands, jumping in the sky. That would be like the Page of Wands in the regular tarot. And so not only rest easy, but be restless. I think it's because once Uranus goes into your second house, if you're in a job that's not right for you, you won't last. You won't. And that's going to be something coming up this July. I think it's July 5th. Okay. My memory serves me. I'm going to have to go get my notes. Okay. But we'll get back to that in a minute. And through to about November 4th or 5th or so. And so, yeah, you might rest easy, but you may also be restless. Now, what does Bill, the sailor, say for you when it comes to how to navigate 2025 in his book? And I explain where these books came. They're all people I know. I made the deck. This is a man who's passed, who was a friend of mine. You're don't forget, this is a spiritual book, right? This is all about enlightenment. So when I open it up, you're going to get whatever it is. And I can't believe what I picked as my favorite quote. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. It is my favorite Rumi quote. It's at the end of a lot of my emails, that I have the automatic send off quotes. That's amazing. My favorite quote: you stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Are you? When will you begin that long journey into yourself? Oh, no. That's a separate quote. So we're going to go with just a simple one. This is from Rumi. Okay, Tauruses, Sun, Moon, and Rising, stop acting so small. Be a little more restless and rest easy. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. I'm going to go back and I'm going to just check the dates for can't believe I did the 2025 videos. I have no memory of the Uranus timeframe. July 7th to November the 8th is when you're going to have Uranus in your second house of earnings. July 7th to November 8th. Let's go on to the next sign. Right. We're moving into the sign of Gemini. Hey, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Are you ready for this? Number one, what is the most important thing for you that you want to be aware of, and how can you lean into it? And what's my spiritual guidance? It's going to be Jupiter moving into your money house, exalted. And this is a new vibe that you've never had before, because we have a rare condition of the North Node in Pisces starting January 11th through to summer of 26, moving through the 10th house. If you play your game right here, if you do the thing that the sky asked you to do, it's to move into a destined alignment with your purpose and career and success financially from it. And it's a little Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss, and everything else will follow with it. All the doors will open for you. And there's a call of the sky to exalt your career, expand it greatly. Jupiter is going to do that starting in the summer, June the 9th of this year to June 30th of 2026. And so you have that exalted career, but with the North Node expanding your second house. And this has not been seen since the late 1800s. So first in a lifetime, last in a lifetime, way that your career bliss, and you're following it, I hope, will expand your success financially as well. And also, just a note to file, just a small note to file. As you begin 2025 until February 4th, Jupiter's retrograde in your sign. So it's a time when you know that you have all this bounty you're trying to deepen. And don't try to make any major decisions or choices in life until he's direct on February the 4th. Then he's going to speed ahead until June 9th, and he'll start dropping golden eggs of luck your way. Right now, he's going back like you draw back the bow and arrow, and he's been drawing the arrow back since October, and now he swings forward February 4th. And then October 9th to February 4th, he's swinging back the arrow, October 9th of 24 to February 4th of 25. And then boom, he lets that Gemini arrow, go. And lucky breaks start to show up for you, and expansive things. And who knows, maybe getting pregnant if that's a goal of yours. So these are things that you have to wait for. So be a little more patient as we begin this year, because obviously it's not here yet. There's so much going on this year. There's so many changes. I'm only giving you a highlight. And for me, this is the biggest highlight for you, as Jupiter has laid golden eggs of prosperity in your identity, because you decide to gnosis, know what it is you truly want and how you define wealth, joy, happiness in your life. Faith, hope, and optimism. Where is that for you? Is it in the money? Is it chasing the money? Are you chasing the paper? Or is it something deeper? Because by the time we get February 4th and he's direct, he's trying to show you the way to go, so that when he lands in your money house, and a lot seen since the late 1800s, flow to the North Node of Fate in your 10th house, your blissful following of the deepest values and the deepest knowingness that you have will lead to an expansion of luck and prosperity in career and money matters. When I pull a card from my Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck, which I'm about to do, I'm asking how you navigate this for your greatest good, so that you can capitalize on such a rare event, because we can be our own worst enemies, right? Success could be knocking on our door full on, bang, bang, bang. And we go, oh, I'm not in the mood to get up and answer it. I'm watching my Netflix show. True blue. Oh my God, I love that card, because Jupiter is the god of truth. Of course, blue is the throat chakra, but it's just truth. And it's a sunflower. Okay, a sunflower, vitality, purpose, life force. It's been dyed blue in this picture. Purpose, vitality, life force, energy. Be true to that. And Jupiter says, well, if you want to be successful in your sunflower career, is the sun in the tarot, the 19th card, and you want to be true blue, then you need to really think about where that vitality is. A sunflower reaches for the sun, and that's that thing that's our soul. So by being in a soulful alignment, yes, you will be prosperous. You have to, like the sunflower, you have to reach for the sun, not for the darkness, not for the mold and the mildew in the basement. That's not going to get you there, right? Now, that's the message for you on that. What about my friend Marlene's card deck? In the intro, I said she passed away. I'm using cards I've made or friends have made. These are not on the market. This is a deck from my friend Marlene, who died in an car accident a few years ago. And she made this deck for me. And what do you have but the Two of Cups? Now, as you might guess, that looks like a very happy couple with the wedding rings and stuff, and the goblets of celebration. In a way, what Jupiter brings is joy and happiness. And Two of Cups can look like, in the context of the thing I mentioned to you, collaborations and partnerships in work, and contracts and business contracts in work. And if it could look like a theme that would involve the word celebration of union, moving in together, getting proposals, or getting engaged, or getting married. That does make some sense for you, Geminis, because Jupiter is the ruler of the marriage house, and he is until June the 9th, moving forward in the house of you, looking over at the marriage house. So there can be some up-leveling and increases in positive developments and long-term committed love story. Or if you're single, Gemini, before June, the beginning of a new long-term and committed love story. Does that sound like a plan, Stan? Why not, right? And finally, from my Enlightenment fellow, who's also passed away, Bill Ellis, in a book that is just private, it was never published, your spiritual message from him in this compilation of spiritual wisdom quotes. I love this one. I don't know if you guys know who Gabrielle Roth is. I actually studied in New York City at the ballroom of the Marriott Hotel with her. She's passed away. She created the 5 rhythms dance tradition, and moving to like lyrical and staccato and stillness, all these movement lyrics, like all these ways that sound makes us move our bodies in different ways. And she wrote a book called Sweat Your Prayers. And I cannot believe that the first thing that I'm coming to for us Geminis, coming to for Gemini sun, is a reminder of this person's work. I can't even tell you where to start, because he's writing all about her and his intersection with her, because he studied with her as well. But we can move through life in different rhythms. One of them is flow, the feminine energy. One is staccato, one is chaos, one is lyrical, and the other is stillness. I am not going to read the whole section because it's a paragraph. It's more than a paragraph. But how can you move in a certain rhythm and a groove with life? And if you want to go check out Sweat Your Prayers, Google it and see if you can find some more information about how to move in rhythm with life. Now, it could be also just get your ass, just shake your booty. It's time to start dancing again. I used to dance in my living room or my kitchen all the time. I'm going to get back to just putting the music on. My neighbor doesn't like it. So it was my earbuds and dancing again. All right, we're moving on to the next sign, which is Cancer. All right. I'm getting my hair cut soon, guys. It's been way too long. It's like driving me nuts. All right, here we go. What are you doing here? Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. What's my guidance for you in 2025 based on some of the energy of what the sky is offering you? And don't forget, in the intro, I talk about a few other things. Go watch the rest of the stuff, especially how the first part of the year is chaotic and the second half is better. Now, I'm just sitting here looking at the sky, going, what does this person need to know the most? Where is the juice? Where is the juice? Obviously, the juice is Jupiter juice. Jupiter will move in this year, 2025, from the backroom deals and negotiations and your solitude and your spiritual life and money generated from far off lands. He'll move out of that place in your chart starting on June the 9th, and for a year will be in your first house. And so through to June 30th of 26, you've got Jupiter here. And this is really good for luck. This is really good for growth and expansion, for deeply knowing what you want, for being wise, for being kingly, for being magnetic, charismatic, fortunate, lucky, faithful, and hopeful about reality. It's a feel-good transit. It can get you chubbier. You can put muscle or fat on, or you can get pregnant and your belly will expand. That's the only downside. When Jupiter leaves, you'll lose the weight. Don't sweat it. But it is a beautiful spiritual transit as well, and it's accompanied by the North Node in the 9th house, not seen in our lifetimes. And this could really awaken deep spiritual impulses within you, as well as create an urge to go back to school or off to university and learn something that brings you deep satisfaction, or to get involved in the book publishing industry or the joy of international travel, as to name a few. However, it's not a common story because, again, it goes back to the late 1800s, and you're directly impacted by a Jupiter transit like none other. For example, in 2013 June to 2014 June, Jupiter did move through your first house, but not with the exaltation of abilities flowing to the North Node, and the North Node flowing to him from your 9th house of God. And therefore, this is something extremely rare and so deeply spiritual, and can bring into your life an amazing opportunity for you to become way more spiritually aware. It also brings a lot of luck your way because there is luck in the 9th house as well. It's a luck house in Indian astrology. The Lord of the 9th house, in other words, your 9th house is Jupiter, is in the house of you. And so when the Lord of the 9th house, say you're born with this chart, say you're a Cancer rising with Jupiter in your first house, the Lord of the 9th house will bring you luck personally. You are going to be lucky all through your life. The Lord of the 9th in the first house brings lifelong luck. I'm going to teach a class on finding the luck in your chart. I had another one earlier, but I'm going to expand it to include the Lord of the 9th in each of the houses. And this is just indicating it's one damn lucky year to be you. And anything in your life that looks difficult will have a happier ending than you naturally would expect, given the circumstances. And this luck is with you, as I said, June the 9th until June the 30th of 2026. And Jupiter will be coming off your 12th house. And so he goes direct on February 4th to June the 9th. That's when you can have some real bounty when it comes to international digital income and revenue. You might want to travel or enroll for a school or a course or travel during the Jupiter direct on February 4th to June the 9th. Now, the cards I have for you from my homemade Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck, you can find my Awakened Dreamer blog. I'll start putting that in my description box. I have a whole side gig called Enlightenment when I'm not doing astrology. And some of you know that I'm burning out on astrology, so I might go back and talk about other things eventually. Now, this is the card deck that I love. I'm not burning out on astrology. I'm burning out on my content creation schedules and stuff. So your card for 2025 is your secret garden. Oh, wait. I will show you guys the card. Now, don't get afraid of that secret garden. Isn't that a beautiful card, right? There's a little fairy statue looking at a skeleton. All right. Secret garden is where you do something that the world doesn't see you doing because you want to do something that's precious to you. It's your inner, private, secret thing. What are you doing? No one's looking at you because you're knitting, you're making dolls, you're making a perfume collection. And Jupiter in the 12th house is in the secret garden until June the 9th. And it can indicate things that you're incubating in your solitude behind the scenes, whether you're doing it or dreaming it, is a secret garden. My friend Kim Hudson wrote a book called The Virgin's Promise, and the secret garden is one of the phases of the heroine's journey, as she has something special she knows she can do, but she's afraid to share it, so she keeps it in her secret garden. It's not ready for public consumption. So something that you want to put into the world or do or share, a book you want to publish, don't forget North Node's in your book publishing house, you can keep it in your secret garden at least until June the 9th. Now, this is a card from my friend Marlin, who passed away a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and she created this deck for me, and this is just a tarot card, but what is the message for you that you need to look at? And I'm just going to pull one out of this deck. The Two of Discs. Okay. This is like decisions about the material realm. Okay, she called it duality, which is fine, but decisions that need to be made, choices around money, earnings, resources, and prosperity, or in Indian astrology, the Artha houses 2, 6, and 10. And it's interesting because we're not even talking about that. We're talking about the luck coming down from the God house and how you're going to ride the wave. But Saturn will move into your career house, righty? And that date of that, it's in the summertime. Let me grab the exact date and my little notes, and he'll be there until September 1st. And Neptune will be there just ahead of him at the end of March. And so having those two characters together in your 10th house of career and work, May 25th to September 1st, is going to be about a constriction or a restraint or a pulling back or a consideration of serious, sober-minded realism about matters to do with work and money. Money and work are going to be contemplated profoundly by you through May 25th to September 1st. And so there may be some choices you need to make around those matters, because you're going to also have a lot of spiritual flow going on. And maybe the money and the earnings and the work isn't the main focus for you at this time. Saturn will be in your 10th house for 3 years, and you will solidify mastery, authority, and power in your career. So don't be also afraid of that. It's a really great success transit, but it also quite often precedes the end or completion of some cycle of work or creation of career purpose, for example. Never mind. I'm not going to. Well, I'll talk about it. Kamala Harris has this transit, and that's not surprising that she did not rise to the peak of power, because the transit itself indicates a completion at the same time or peaking out at something. It's a bit of a mixed bag. This is a Bill Ellis Bible. He passed away, but he wrote this book for friends and family, compilation of spiritual wisdom. What is the thing you need to know? You need to know enlightenment is a moment-to-moment experience, and it is by Charles Tart, PhD. Enlightenment is a moment-to-moment experience. Well, you've got Jupiter, the planet of enlightenment, in the sign of you. I'm going to give you one more, so you can't get it any better. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, by Carl Gustav Jung. So Jung says, be who you are. Enlightenment is a present moment thing. Jupiter is truth, wisdom, and knowing, knowledge, gnosis, inner knowing, in the house of your identity, the character you're playing in this life. So know who you truly are is one of your best strategies in 2025. I hope that was fun for you. I enjoyed giving that content. Now I'm going to move on to the next sign, which will be the sign of Leo. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I think this is going to be a 2-hour video, guys. With this energy, you're going to, I'm just like there's a lot going on in 2025. We're doing my spiritual guidance version of reality here. So the thing I want to point out, there's a lot going on for you in this year ahead as a Leo, sun, moon, and rising that's going to have an impact on your finances in a positive way. Of course, because the North Node goes through your chunky money house at the same time. In June, Jupiter will exalt or power up or amplify 12th house stories. This is both a spiritual moksha liberation energy, houses 8 and 12, but because 8 involves money that you don't work for and comes to you in other means, including inheritances and gifts from parents and money from your spouse and money from business partnerships and investments and income from royalty, all kinds of other money, you're definitely going to experience this increase of your financial wellness. But another meaning is to go deeper into the occult mysteries, the spiritual component of life, tarot, astrology, all of that. The North Node will amplify your curiosity and interest in these areas, and your worldly success will increase as well. So this is an energy that you get to experience fully June the 9th of this year till June of next year. Now, it is also the ending of a time, like the completion of that Uranus transit in your 10th house. You're going to get a break from that starting in July, around July I wrote it down now, I forgot it. I think it's July the 5th. My brain, guys, my brain. July the 7th. Okay, July the 7th to November the 8th. Uranus gets out of the 10th house. This has been a lot of excitement, exhilaration, and change in your career over the last 7 years, since 2018, really, and a lot of erratic change as well, things you didn't expect, Leo, ups and downs and lefts and rights and backwards and forwards, and oh my God, sudden uplifts and sudden downdrafts and changes and unexpected developments. And it might have been good for you if you worked on the international and the internet technologies, or you worked on the internet, the World Wide Web. It could have been a good transit, but it's ending because now Uranus is going to move into your 11th house of good spirit and bring the potential for windfalls and pennies from heaven and sudden escalations of career gains and other sources of money. And what's really important about that turning point that you're just going to have a teaser flavor of, July the 7th to November the 8th, it's going to overlap with this expansion of the chunky money. So the best I can say is, you're coming into some new money and you're making new friends and new social groups that are way outside the normative for your social circles. What is the other guidance I have for you to handle 2025? We're going to start with my Wake and Dreamer Oracle, my own deck created with my friend from me. I created it, but I solicited a bunch of people to help me. I'm going to get a footstool. Be right back. Getting dark here. I'm in my window seat in Vancouver. Okay, there, that's better. I put my feet on something because this window seat's high that my legs are dangling and it's not comfy. So let's pick a card for you from Lori's handmade Awakened Dreamer Oracle. I made this in 2016 or 17, somewhere back then. And the card for you for the year, just fan the deck beneath, is Love Notes. Love notes. Now, it can be metaphorical or real, right? What do you love? Who do you love? Is the universe sending you love notes? I think I wrote this up in Wake and Dreamer about synchronicity. I asked each of the people who provided a photo, it's on my Wake and Dreamer Oracle, to give me what they thought this card meant for them. And honestly, it could literally be like, the synchronicities, I call them kisses from God, to look for those in your life, to look for the moments in which you feel you're being guided, that the universe is sending you some love notes. But that said, as a Leo rising, especially with Pluto in your 7th house, a powerful and transformative new love relationship might be coming into your life. So don't be saying no to that. You never know. Anything is possible. My other card deck that I have is from my friend Marlene, and she passed away, as I'm telling everybody, you should listen to the intro. And I'm using decks now from people I know and a book from someone I know. This is my intimate little inner world of my decks. I just lost my Zoom picture. There we are. So what does Marlene's deck have to say for you? Basic Tarot for 2025 navigational guidance for your sign. Oh, opportunity. All right. So remember I told you that Your Uranus is moving into your house of great gains, your 11th house. That can look like career opportunity as well, especially from a friend, ally, benefactor, benefactors, people who like you, elder sibling, giving you new career, one above you, elder sibling, one above you, providing unexpected, surprising, exhilarating career opportunity. But it's just opportunity. So it's a year for opportunity. I know Jupiter is expanding your wealth and your occult knowledge. I know you got some electrical shock and awe in the house of career gains. And so look for those opportunities and take them when the door is knocking. To go a little bit deeper, the Bill Ellis Bible, and my dear friend Bill, I think he died at 84. And let's see what it has to say for you. It's a section that seems to be talking about belief, but I want to just see something first. I want to see who he's talking about. A woman named Rachel Naomi Renn. Okay. These are bits, pieces from her book, Kitchen Table Wisdom. Kitchen Table Wisdom. So the thing I opened up for you is the word belief traps or frees us. Oh, I'm not going to go any further. Did you know that belief traps or frees us? What you believe, you perceive. What you perceive, you draw into your life. So your beliefs can trap you or free you. So I think I'm going to keep it simple. And you've got this kind of deep occult expansion and the moksha of the 12th house, 8th house Jupiter and North Node activation to go below the surface and maybe start to do a little belief management. Check out your beliefs under the surface. Do you believe money doesn't grow in trees? Maybe it does. Do you believe that to be wealthy, you have to work your ass off? Maybe that's not true. Do you believe that, you'll only be loved if you're beautiful, sexy, and, hot? Maybe not. Look under the surface of your beliefs. They can free you or trap you. That's your message. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on to the next sign. Okay, this is going to be a long video. I'm moving in slow effing mo. Excuse my language. This is for my sister's time stamping. We're moving into Virgo. I'm going to take a nice long walk after this. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, what can you do here? It is a great little sky for you in 2025. First half is a shithole of a mess for everybody, and the second half is better. Excuse my language, but I didn't get you to move to Virgo, but here we get you over there, Virgo. First of all, it's blindingly unavoidable that I must point something out. You have to go back 18 years, right? You have to go back 18 years ago, 2006, 7, and 8. Compare, if you can, the North Node moving through your 7th house, expanding your relationship corridor, getting engaged, getting married, moving in, up-leveling, profoundly expanding existing relationships into new levels of something, having a child together, whatever it is, the relationship of your primary love is expanding. And if you are a single Virgo, you will indeed probably find somebody June the 9th of 25 to June 30th of 26. In the meantime, if you have an audience or a marketplace, that can expand. And if you want to find a guru or a teacher, that can happen as well as a significant relationship. So this is something that you're entertaining or is happening for you one way or the other throughout this part of the sky. Decisions you might want to make around job and work are on the menu between as you begin the year, but wait till February the 4th when Jupiter goes direct in your 6th house. Wait till February the 4th when Jupiter goes direct in your 10th house before you make any changes in career, any decisions about work and career matters. Because Jupiter has been deepening the boundary, pulling back the drawstring on that question mark ever since October 9th, and will swing his bow forward and hit the mark on February 4th to June the 9th. And that's when you can have great luck in your career matters and get the perfect job or end the job on good terms or do both or whatever it is you're doing. That's when your all systems go starts February 4th to June the 9th. Keep that in mind. But the North Node expands at 7th house and then Jupiter moves into the 11th house of good spirit. And this brings a huge amount of success in your social networks and your career gains, as well as in your marriage and relationship. So there's not a lot of hardship here, to say the least. It's quite positive. The good news is you are going very deep in your spiritual life. You're looking at South Node, letting go of an old identity, the way you thought you should behave or act, or who you thought your character should be in the simulation or dream. And you're adding a little bit of the element of the spiritual, the wise, the mystical part of you coming to life. And in fact, you could even discover gifts and talents, or that you knew you had but have been dormant, or that you've been waiting for them to revive and that now they will. And it's an exciting time for you to really lean into like sort of this deep spiritual well of selfhood and knowing who you are under the surface, not just like, oh, in a past life, I was a jewelry maker. Now I know I can do that. You can have that kind of reclamation of old gifts and talents, but deeper, you see that you're not just a one-off knockoff in this lifetime. There's multiple versions of you that you've had in many different experiences in the eternal now. You see, these lives to me aren't past and present. They're happening all at once, everything, everywhere, all at once. That's my knowing. That's what I've experienced. And that's what I'm wanting to remind you of. Battery problems. So I'm going to pause now because we're going to pick some cards for you and I'm going to get this thing charged up again. Give me 5 seconds and we will charge this story line up. Unfortunately, for some reason, my charger isn't working and I don't know why. And let me try plugging it into another socket or something. Give me a sec. Shoot, I don't want this to end because if it ends, I'm screwed and I have to paste this together in iMovie, which is its own ordeal. Excuse me, guys, I'm just plugging this in. Give me 5 seconds. I don't know if the problem is the electrical or something else. Never know, right? Where's the source of the issue? The socket, the cord, or my laptop? Yeah, let's try it again. You've got to be kidding me. I'm going to have to move to another room, I think. No luck. Okay. Let's take the fancy mic out. And just try to put it in here. Now I got the charge, but now I don't have a good mic. Let's try another thing. Sorry. I'm going to pause the recording while I fix the problem. All right, I'm back and I did not manage to, it took me forever to get everything set up again. I've got some tech issues with one of the ports on my laptop. And so I had to find like a multi-cord to plug it all in so I could record, keep the mic running, do the whole thing. Here we go, Virgo. It's just a details, right, for the Virgos. Technical issues. What's your card for your spiritual guidance for the year ahead? Okay, leap now. Yes, jump, leap, and the net will appear. Take a big jump. Go for it. Where do you need to take a leap? I'll tell you one thing. One place you could leap, Virgo, is there's going to be the movement of Uranus into Gemini. Okay, that's like in the summertime, July the 7th to November the 8th. And that's big, exciting changes that you can make in your career and reputation space. You know, I'm leaping into I'm married. I'm leaping into a new job. I'm taking a chance. So have the spirit of leap and the net will appear. Next, leaping now. You are also going to get a card from my friend Marlene's deck that she made for me, custom made. Victory, movement. You're moving forward. That makes a lot of sense to me. I can see that with that exciting Uranian energy coming up this July through November, hitting your 10th house. Fast, swift movement, victory, and success can indicate some travel for you this year as well, which might be fun. And that doesn't surprise me either, given the activation, Virgo, of Uranus still moving in and out of your house of foreign shores before July and after November. You could do some foreign travel. The other energy here of the victory card is like, are you aligned with your purpose, in the sense that you got to steer that horse, right? Like there's like two sphinxes going in two-way directions. And the only thing that can get those babies moving, the black and white sphinxes or horses, forward in one direction is the driver, which is you, which is your eternal nature, your real self. And victory, success, and achievement are yours in this year ahead. But also know what you wish to achieve. Know where you want to go. Tie the pieces together. Let's see what Bill Ellis in his book, the Bill Ellis Bible, has to say. Only Bill Ellis would call his own book the Bible. I swear, it's audacious, right? Okay. Talks about Osho. There's 3 paragraphs about the power of going into your aloneness. I'm not going to read it to you. It's too long. I'm going to pick one for a pithier quote. I'm going to try again, but I read the 2 paragraphs quickly, and it's about the power you have is in the aloneness. Now that makes some sense because Virgo, South Node through the first house can bring you into solitude, stillness, surrender, and a deeper spiritual awareness. And your aloneness might be your biggest ally in that regard. And then the other quote that I got for you today, just randomly healing it up. The more you are grateful for, the more will be given to you. So get your gratitude attitude going. Rabbi Harold Kushner, a whole section on gratitude, actually. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. William Arthur Ward. So there's a lot to do with gratitude, a bunch of quotes here on gratitude. And that makes sense too, because, when we're feeling a sense of gratefulness in life and just even for the simple things, a roof over our head, a martini at the end of the day, or whatever it is, these energies of gratitude open up, an energy field. I don't mean to woo, but, the more we mope, the more mopey things, the more we mope, the more things come to us to mope about. And I'm not discounting life tragedy. We all have that. But I'm also saying, get your gratitude attitude. It's just a suggestion, Virgo. Just a suggestion. Moving into the next sign. All right, it's Libra time. This is taking way longer than I anticipated. So Libra, let's focus on a couple of highlights and my guidance for you. If I was a Libra, what would I be doing? And what does the sky tell me? That's the vibe here. Well, I have a sense that you're ending a chironic wound about long-term committed love or long-term committed business partnerships or how you reach an audience in the marketplace with your truest purpose. That's because Chiron got obliterated in an eclipse that happened on April the 19th. And then another energy as he stationed direct, all said and done, end of December. Many of you are beginning to see forward and no longer look at the challenged, wounded, I'm unlovable, my marriage partners don't work for me. Every time I get in a business partnership, it's the wrong one. My audience and clients I'm meeting the wrong people. I want to serve somebody new. I'm not on purpose. All that's changing. When you move into 2025, you'll begin to see the light. And 26 and 27, it's all clearing for you. That's a chironic shift that you precedes and beginning this year ahead. Like you're already in the thick of the turnaround before 2025 begins as you rattle through that eclipse of April of 2024 and doesn't really expire until 2025 March. That said, one thing to really be aware of is that your work and your career space wants to be supremely up-leveled because of Jupiter moving exalted through your 10th house June the 9th through to June 30th of 25, taking you back to like 2013, 14, summer to summer, but not like that really, because you've never in your lifetime, nor has anyone had the North Node transiting Pisces since 1885 or something. Well, at the same time, Jupiter's in your 10th house. So exquisite time to be bold and lucky and expansive and generous and magnanimous and leaderful in your career, in your work, in your ambitions in your career and work, and to have the destined expansion of your 6th house employees or expansion in your role amongst other people, employer, colleague, job, and role, and increasing your role in that area. And Saturn says authority and mastery and more responsibility, but an expansion of your success as well. So bottom line is your career is expanding and your workplace as well. And a few of you might get a pet this year. That's a destined soulmate pet coming through the house of domestic animals with the North Node transit. Now, the best part for the career the pet can come anytime, January 11th at 18 months, into 26. But the energy of the luck in your career, it doesn't really begin until June the 9th. And with Jupiter retrograde, be careful. Don't make any major career action decisions. You're on a runway. Jupiter goes direct February 4th, and then by the 9th, he's in your career house, but better that you make pre-decisions, strategies, take actions regarding career before June 9th, but wait till February 4th. You want a Jupiter direct, so you know the direction to go. Which way are you truly wanting to head? Jupiter will meet in your 10th house. That's called the wedding transit. And if you're in a relationship, you guys might get more significantly bonded or connected, and the wedding bells may start to ring in the course of a year through to the summer of 2026. Now, let's go ahead and give you some guiding cards from the first deck that I have here, my Waken Oracle Dreamer deck that I made by myself in 2016. All right. So we're looking for something that says how to engage the year ahead. What's the best? And it's no filters. Now, I wondered about that, but I'm going to stick with it. I know that's a Pamela Madsen picture. I don't know if she's a sex education person. Sorry about the butt, but that's her card. She put it in there. She does back to the body retreats for women. And she's, body sexology and stuff. was a friend of mine online. We're kind of out of touch now. This is back to 2016, but no filters. Let's go with that. You do have that chironic wound or healing when it comes to your audience, your marketplace, your business partners, and your love partner. It's almost like the sky saying, okay, take down the filters, take down the mask, be yourself with your clients and your public. Don't fake it. Be filter less in your long-term committed relationship. Approach all the others in your life with the innocence that comes with no mask, no filter. Be who you are with those people. Be like a child. Kids don't have filters, right? Not until they're after the age of 7. Jesuits, give me a kid before 7 and I'll give you the man. No, before 7, we're without the filters. We put filters on because we learn what's acceptable and not, and then we begin to adapt for survival. So where are you without filters? Because Libras, you're coming into your unfiltered self. My card from Marlene, my friend that I adore, who passed away, made this deck for me, the star inspiration. Well, first of all, it can mean being the star, right? Just being the star of what you're up to, the star of your own show. Yeah, Jupiter in the 10th house of career and reputation. You can be a superstar. You can be super successful. But also it's a card of inspiration, tuning into the guides, the ancestors, the non-human, guiding forces, the other side, the entities that pour the divine healing Aquarian waters down on us. So being in tune with your inspiration, your muse, the deepest part of you is a part of that success and how you get to be a star. The Bill Ellis Bible. What do we got for you? We got this. Oh, I'm in the middle of a long paragraph. So let's not, I can't. It's like it's too long. It's like almost a whole chapter that seems to be about a book of somebody has written. Woo. All right. From the Bhagavad Gita, your message is, man is made by his belief. As he believes, so he is. This is the second time someone got a belief quote from this book, okay? So pay attention to your beliefs. Jupiter's traveling your 9th house, which can be a belief house, and Jupiter rules beliefs as well. And so Jupiter will exalt your 10th house of career as he moves out of a house that can be more dogmatic 9th house beliefs. So by investigating what you believe to be true, and undoing them, you will begin to be the master of your success. All right. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising. Wow, so much going on this year ahead. I don't even know where to begin. It's just like, oh. If you're in a job you don't like, if you're in a career path that feels, I don't know, stuck, then this can change because Chiron has been healed in the house of work and service, and you might be moving towards a reclamation of deepest purpose because Jupiter will exalt your Dharma house from June the 9th of this year, 25, to June 30th. And with the Chironic healing in the house of work and obligation, duty, service, and slavery, very, very many of you Scorpios are going to move away from a wounded work position, wounded career work position, and into some new alignment with purpose. Some of you might go back to school, go to school for the first time, re-educate. If it's not that, you're just kind of lining up. Like and this exalted Jupiter in the 9th house flows to you and you feel lucky, good. It's a luck house. It's a luck planet. It flows at you. It's a lucky year. It's a purpose alignment year. It's letting go of wounds around work and purpose, all shifting for you. How beautiful. Are you having a baby? Are you making a baby business? Is your art taken off? All of that North Node energy in the 5th house indicates all of those are possible. Ideal for international success, book publishing, creative endeavors, entrepreneurial fresh starts, and fertility and pregnancy. Okay, so those are your themes of this year. This is a good year to be you. You're going to see that Uranus is leaving your marriage house and he'll tiptoe out of there July through to November, but then he'll be back again. Not to worry. He's gone in 2026 for a long time, for the rest of your life. And this is meaning any instability in the long-term committed love stories can ease. On the other hand, given this year's sky, unexpected pregnancy. You or your partner could not be planning yet, and yet there is a pregnancy in 2025, into 2026 maybe. Now, what I'm going to do is pull a card, and I've got 3 cards for you. I've got the first one from my friend, from my own Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck, Heaven Earth. Now that makes sense. What connects heaven and earth, right? So sometimes it's our midheaven. You could say the vault of heaven in your chart, but the 9th house is a house of God, and your 9th house is activated Jupiter, expanding purpose. How can you bring your purpose down to earth? How does heaven and earth connect in your life? How does your mundane and everyday connect with your spiritual and sacred world? For Jupiter is the guru in the ninth house, and some of you may align with the new spiritual path, teacher, spiritual practice in 2025. Now, my friend Marlene, in her deck that she created for me before she passed away, has this to say about you in the story of 2025 and how to best navigate it. I'm having a bad hair day. It's about work. It's the 8 of discs. Okay. So I already mentioned to you that this got water damaged, but anyway, I already mentioned to you that you were working with alignment, the 8 enthusiasm in work, alignment with work, removing yourself from the wounded work that you've been doing that doesn't feel true, because now your enthusiastic muse is being north node expanded. Your creativity is expanding. Your desire for enthusiastic joy, pleasure, and inspiration is here. And it's in the work part of your life. And that's where I advise you to focus as you move through the year ahead, is how can I be enthusiastically and joyfully inspired in my work and move away from some drudgery, duty, and slavery. Now, when I say slavery, I don't mean literally, so it's not politically correct, but the 6th house was called the house of slavery in the old days. Put all that you can into the least that you do. Don't hold back, because the greatest gift you can give anyone is a gift of your whole self. Again, put all that you can into the least that you do. Do not hold back, because the greatest gift you can give anyone is the gift of your whole self. Well, that speaks to me of the Dharma alignment. And that is a quote from the book of John O'Donohue. There you go. Put your whole self into it. Find your enthusiasm, find your passion, live your bliss. If you have not done that yet, and if you've done it, just keep on going. Now, Sagittarius, let me have a sip of my kombucha. Matches my earrings. So, Jupiter has been in your marriage house for a long time, since 3rd week of May 25th, 2024, and it will be leaving here in 2025 on June 9th. And I have to say, for some of you, that could be the end of that relationship. And that doesn't have to be a marriage, it's a long-term committed union, long-term love story, because Jupiter has been going back to ponder from October 9th, whether this relationship is worthy of sticking together with. You or your partner may be pondering, it doesn't matter. And then Jupiter goes direct February 4th, and now clear direction about which way to go is there. And otherwise, you may have come back into an older relationship with a former long-term committed person and re-engage that person in a new relationship, probably since October. But I bring this up because this Jupiter transit happens about once every 12 years. And as he moves into your 8th house on June the 9th, that can be bounty from divorce and spousal separation agreements. And it could indicate for a few of you that kind of money is available for you in successful ways and prosperous ways. June the 9th. Through to June 30th of 2026. Otherwise, Jupiter in your 8th house will expand your desire to have a learning or a knowledge around tarot, astrology, numerology, hermetic wisdom, occult mysteries, the paranormal, and the supernatural. Jupiter in your 8th house as well will expand your bounty, and you may get money from buying a property, selling a property, to buy a property, to sell a property, to get some legacy wealth from mom or dad, even some inheritance in your family line. These are themes that run through the Sag story with this Jupiter transit through your chunky money 4th house starting June the 9th. But the exceptional exaltation here in your 8th house happened in 2013-14, June to June, but not with the North Node. And a lot of you with this new nodal axis, 4th house, will expand your home, change your home, move your home. Some of you might move abroad. North Node means the foreigner, but there is a move or a change of home pending for a lot of you people who are Sagittarius rising, especially, and Sun and Moon secondarily. But changing home is a theme here. So listen to all three and see, do you think that you might change your home in the 18 months that follows this January of 2025? Well, if so, not to worry. You have the financial wherewithal, the luck to get the perfect deal, the mortgage, the best house price for a purchase, the best house price for a sale, etc. All is well here. There's too much going on to cover every single thing. And so I'm not even going to try. But I will give you one more little tip here, just a small one. If you're single looking for love, when Uranus moves into your 7th house in the summer, July through to November, you might find a new relationship that knocks your socks off. But if you're with somebody and you've been pondering the end, it may come with electrical shock and awe in very swift and descending ways, very unexpected liberation from a relationship or from each other or something like that, July through to October. Otherwise, if you're single, you can meet someone, as I said, who's like completely different than anyone you've ever been with before. That has a whole different type of person, right? Not your norm. Let's go get some cards for you. There's so much going on. This is barely scratching the surface, but I'm doing these little mini 25s for you because I gave my top 10 predictions for 2025. And now I'm going to take these cards and I'm going to pull a card from my Wake and Dreamer Oracle deck that I made. And I got blue moon, once in a blue moon. What happens once in a blue moon? That's when a moon, by the way, full moon happens twice in a calendar month. That's one of the meanings. There's other ways it's delineated as well. Look, something rare, something precious, something big, something exciting wants to happen for you. With Uranus, it could be that new relationship. If you're in the online world, it could be a viral hit. Kaboom, you're taken off because of Uranus in the 7th house in the public marketplace. But something is very once in a blue moon exciting for you in this year ahead. It could also be a once in a blue moon buying a home, selling a home, chunks of money coming at you from unexpected sources. This is a deck by my friend Marlene, and I'm going to pick a card for you. And she's passed away, but what the heck, she still made a card deck that works. It's a success card. The 6 of Wands normally is a rider on a horse resting on one's laurels, being successful. It's in a spiritual capacity, inspiration, triumph, victory. You can see that there's a butterfly and an owl, wisdom and transformation, and yellow flowers for vitality. Love the photo of someone jumping for joy. You are literally going to be successful at something that you want to accomplish in 2025. And the 6 of Wands invites us to also realize that we are already successful, that we're resting on some kind of history of we're coming home with the bounty that we've acquired while we went off as a knight to we're bringing it back to the village kind of vibe. So you're really kind of coasting into a time of success based on what you've accomplished before this time. But at a deeper spiritual level, the Bill Ellis Bible, my friend Bill has passed away at 84, passed away a few years ago, wrote this book for friends and family. It's really illegal because he compiled a bunch of stuff without copyright information of spiritual wisdom and truth. All right. So I didn't really open to a quote. I just opened to this whole explanation of sacred movement or something. It's not enough to give you anything in specific. So I'm going to try again. I opened up from the book of Mutant Message Down Under, okay, by Marlo Morgan. This is the section I'm in. So that's like a woman who went on a pilgrimage to Australia in the outback. Okay, Mutant Message Down Under. And what do I have for you off of this? Okay, so the thing I'm drawn to read here. These people, in this case, the Aboriginal people, the ancient ones, believe everything exists on the planet for a reason. Everything has a purpose. There are no freaks, misfits, or accidents. There are only misunderstandings and mysteries not yet revealed to mortal man. So it talks on and on about finding our true and primal purpose. We journey a straight path in oneness because the truth is all of life is one life. There is only one game in only one game in progress, the game of life. There is one race, but many different shades. I mean, physical appearance. Okay, so sorry, that's not the best and most inspiring, but I will say this about it. All right. Well, I talked about for you earlier when I mentioned the journey you're going through, right? Is that Jupiter will move to the deeper occult mysteries and magic house of your chart. And this is a story of a woman's pilgrimage, I think it's a woman, to the outback to find deeper spiritual truths. Okay. I think this is the one where she has to find water, and she can only find water by thinking of water, imagining water, dreaming water, being water. And then she comes across water and she's parched and she's dehydrated in her vision quest. Okay. So I think that's the same book. So I'm going to encourage you to dive more deeply into your moksha spirituality, the 8th house in 2025, where the Jupiter will transit June through June. That's my take on that. Let's go ahead and move into the last 3 signs. Is this a 3-hour video, guys? I mean, literally, I'm not sure because I stopped to take water breaks and stuff, but I may be going on into like the land of forever here. All right. Well, it's your navigational tools for 2025. So what can you do? Hopefully it's useful. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So obviously Pluto leaving the house of you for good, forever, wipe your hands clear of him, is a good thing. Because as much as we want to learn authentic power, we have to often be destroyed and decimated in order to find what's true and real. And you've been through that Pluto journey since 2008, and it is over. And Pluto is now going to try his best to transform your finances, including wealth you up. He's a god of the underworld. He's a god of riches, but he also will be coming into your second house for once and first in a lifetime until 2044, but full on in 2025. He's going to say, if you want to be wealthy, you want to be rich, you got to find, you got to operate from the new system that I created for you. The one that I went through your first house. I destroyed a part of you that was attached to riches and power and wealth. I decimated it, and I'm now moving into your money house to give you a new kind of potent way, rich way, a powerful way of resuming the narrative of wealth and earnings and money and resources. So ponder that one, Capricorns. However, having Pluto moving through your second house, which is wonderful, is still accompanied by Jupiter's support from the 6th house until June the 9th, especially February 4th to June the 9th could indicate lucky breaks that are potent and powerful regarding work and wealth, work opportunities, job opportunities, wealth opportunities, anytime from the beginning of this year through until June the 9th, with lots of momentum on February 4th onwards. Then Jupiter moves into the marriage house, and the marriage house is what it sounds like. Here comes the groom and bride. And when Jupiter's here in a relationship that already exists, it can level up. We're dating, now we're committed. We're committed, we're moving in. We're moving in, we're getting engaged. We're getting engaged, we're having a wedding. Up and up and up and up. The ladder of expanding the terrain under which a long-term committed love story can happen. Single Capricorns could meet new love story people. There will be testing. Jupiter will retrograde also in 2025. And that means that you will have to also rethink the relationship. And is it going to stay or is it going to go? Is it deep enough? Does it last? It doesn't matter if you start a new one or you've been in one for a hell of a long time. He retrogrades November the 11th in 25 to March 10th of 2026. So, well, that's not just the retrograde. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So keep in mind. Now, I want to tell you that when Jupiter's in your 7th house, if you work in a business or a work where you have clients, audience, and marketplace, it can expand and grow that for you. Get bigger expansion of your outreach and public marketplace for your career. More clients, bigger clients, wealthier clients, greater outreach, greater expansion of your influence in the public. But if you're looking for a guru, there's only a couple transits for that, Jupiter in the 9th and Jupiter in the 7th. So if you're looking for a spiritual teacher, that could bring in a profound spiritual teacher for you. So much going on. I think you've healed the chironic wound about where you belong. And with Jupiter transiting through your 7th house, well, the North Node expands your 3rd. Some of you may relocate to a better, bigger, larger, more fancy neighborhood or environment that really fits who you are and increases your sense of joy and happiness because you're living in a place you want to live, if you don't already live in a place you want to live. Now, we're going to move away from that because there's a lot going on in 2025, and I can't cover all of it, but we do have some fun cards for you. First, from my Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck. What do we have? Love notes. All righty. This is pretty literal. You're going to have Jupiter going through your long-term love story, 7th house. Single ones, find a new love story. Already in a relationship, It gets better. It gets deeper. It gets bigger. Not much to say about that. It's not complicated. What do we have here for you in my friend Marlene's tarot deck that she created for me? These are all the laminated images that she collaged. She might have had another version, but I got one of them, and she has passed away. So we're going to go ahead and see what the message is for you that you need to know in 2025 to complement the sky, right? To go with the sky and give you some, guidance, basically. So interesting. You have a money card. All right. It's a page, like a page of pentacles, a page of discs. She calls it perseverance. It has to do with a new opportunity financially emerging for you in 2025. You can't parse that one. It's exactly what it looks like. What does the Bill Ellis work or just financial opportunity? What does the Bill Ellis Bible say? This is your spiritual guidance for 2025. And it says, well, I opened to a long chapter. I'm looking for the section where he has quotes from others, not some long writing. So I couldn't find anything that you guys are either meeting someone or getting better with the one you got. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Is that a name? The book of Rumi. It's Rumi. Oh, it's Rumi. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. I'm just leaving that for you. Sounds like you're up-leveling your romantic commitment, and or if you're single, finding one. That's what I got for you guys. That looks like so clear. It's clear as a bell. And if you're in a relationship that's not right for you, Jupiter can bring blessed endings. I should have said that. Blessed endings, blessed endings. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Yes, I am one of you. This is our sky. Look, it's all about Pluto. What else are we going to say? Suddenly we got Pluto as a house guest in the first house or with our sun and moon, so Pluto makes us more powerful, potent. We don't suffer fools gladly. We power up from an authentic place within ourselves. We resource the underworld within ourselves, and we ask ourselves what's really, really important to us, because true power is sourced from deep within. And we're all learning that over the next 20 years as Aquarius folk. So that's the big energy, because it doesn't back off. It's relentless in 2025. Pluto's moving forward. He's not going back to Capricorn for a timeout corner. We're in it all the way. We're all in on this question mark of what's true power. I just remember last night writing a letter that I haven't sent to a friend, that I want to disassociate from that friendship. But that's not the kind of thing I normally do as an Aquarius, right? It's like everyone's okay, and then we'll just we'll tier people into levels of how okay they are. And no, I just realized this is just not working for me in a business relationship, particularly a way. And so there's going to be kind of a way that we just kind of know where to source our power from without even equivocating anymore. We just go straight there. So you've got this internal, deep, relentlessly true unearthing of what you need to do, who you need to be, and what you want, because it's Plutonian now, and you're kind of feeling like I need to be purpose for something bigger. So that's a big vibe through 2025. But the good news is with Jupiter's movement through your sixth house, and that's starting in June, and add a year, and then with the North Node moving through your second house, the biggest energy here is the expansion of your wealth through a once every 100-odd year transit. That it just glows you up in your work. Now, your health can improve, your dietary styles can improve, your work routines can improve in glorious ways, and health problems can be eliminated under this transit. But also, it's just literally suddenly work becomes exalted and joyful. You may expand because you have say you were an entrepreneur like I am, you might have more staff underneath you. Say you're working for an employer, you're going to be up leveled in your work. You're going to increase your position. Say you're retired. Well, then things that you do that are valuable to you, that is like being of service to the world, expand and grow and increase during 2025, June 9th through to June 30th of 2026. You've been tossed and turned on the sea of erratic home. For a lot of you, depends on the degree of your sun, moon, or rising. But for you, Aquarian moons and Aquarius rising, especially, a lot of erratic change in where you live and ups and downs about your home and where you want to live. And it's been changeable since 2018. The good news is that's coming to a close, and you start to feel a lot more stable as the electric jolts of Uranus are leaving behind this digital nomad, unpredictable home life story. And he gets out of there on July 7th through to November 8th and really helps you feel more stabilized around your home, and home life matters. Okay. So it can be a really lovely time for you to feel like more grounded, more stable in your home coming up this summer. Yet he will come back to destabilize you again, November through to February of next year, or summer of next year, 26. So it's not quite done until it's done. It's an old expression, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So but you do feel like a summer of stability, a summer of lack of fear of the shoe dropping, and suddenly you're out of here. After being in your fourth house since 2018, Uranus has been giving you some kind of lessons to do with originality, invention, the internet, new ideas, erratic shifts regarding your home, unexpected insights about your childhood. But he is moving into the fifth house, and I want to say one thing really briefly. If you are a childbearing age, as a woman especially, but men too, this could indicate unexpected fertility episodes. So if you don't want a baby and you're a young person listening to this, just know that Uranus next summer could definitely get you or your partner knocked up and pregnant unexpectedly. So just watch out for that if that's not something you're interested in. And if you're single as well, like July through November, great time for an exciting, exhilarating, fast-moving, new romantic love story. If you're with someone, you're going to go outside the box and start playing with, sex toys or something for the first time. You're going to do things differently. You're going to be polyamorous. You're going to change it up somehow. Okay, so, or you could have some major Kundalini activations through your sex life starting next summer. All right, so through to November. Now we're going to pull away from some of the broad brushstrokes here, and I'm going to talk to you about some cards. First of all, from the Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck, my own creation in 2016, handmade. We're going to see what is the most important message for you in 2025. What is it? Ooh, Spirit Walk. Now, that's like where you kind of just go for a walk and let the signs and synchronicities tell you what's next, right? Like, walk across a bridge and then a crow flies in front of you and you know what crow spirit means. And so spirit walk. So taking time in 2025 to do something that allows you to be in touch with spiritual guidance, omens, and portents. And I think that's the Pluto transit through your first house, to go beneath the surface and to treat more in a place of transformational willingness. And some of that is looking for those signs that the divine is giving you. The Marlin deck, my friend who passed away. And what does she have to say for you? Because what she does in this deck is she puts these little collages together. I love these collages. The Child of Cups inside. This is like the Page of Cups. Now, this might be Uranus in the house of children. And this could indicate a grandchild or a child coming your way. It's just very literal. Otherwise, you're finding the wonder, the innocence, and the awe, the exhilaration, and the excitement of the fifth house, which is a part of us that is our natural talents and abilities that may be rediscovered by you more deeply in 2025, especially given the Pluto is going to be asking you to go below the surface, and in a flow to Uranus, you can uncover radical and shocking and surprising things about who you are based on the talents you have. Or again, someone's getting pregnant, or you're going to be a grandparent. The Bill Ellis Bible, unexpectedly, A Sailor's Journey. A message from dear Bill, passed away a few years ago. The significance of life is living. This is called the Book of Jiddu Krishnamurti. To understand life, we have to understand ourselves. Do it or don't do it, but get on with it. The primary cause of disorder in ourselves is the seeking of reality promised by another. That is the first thing to learn, not to seek. So some deep Krishnamurti energies for us. I'll let you ponder that for how your 2025 guidance might feel or look for you. And I'll let you know how it feels and looks for me. Krishnamurti. God, I love it. Someone asked him how he was so peaceful and chill all the time because he was enlightened, right? And he said, I don't mind what happens. And Byron Katie said, let's stop arguing with reality. That's a lesson I need to learn. Finally, it's the Pisces folk. And I have a feeling I've been on here for almost 2 hours. Yeah, probably, maybe not. Some serious breaks to get the laptop charged up, right? Vancouver, Canada. Okay. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Bar none, big story for you, huge energy. North Node moves into your first house. This is true January 11th through to midsummer of 2026, July. This is going to be a field of energy that you expand who you are. You felt this before. Yes, you've been through it 2006, 7, 8, but this is completely different, because as a North Node expands your Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, sun, career, moon, home, nest, you're going through moon, Pisces, Sadi, Sate. Saturn has been transiting through Pisces, and this has been a difficult time. It started about the peak of your Sadi Sate started in March of 23 and will complete or de-peak out, I guess we could call it, the whole intensity in February of 2026. 25, 23, 24 into the early 25 is the peak of a testing period for you. It actually started earlier than that. It started back in 2021 too, and it'll be over, by 2028. So the Sadi Sate is the transit of Saturn over the Pisces moon people. So only for you Pisces moon, it's been a really big journey, but this transit can make you worldly and successful as well as try you and tribulate you as well. But for the rest of you, Pisces sun, Pisces rising, right? This is an expansion of your identity for the rising of your career path for the suns. And it's happening in a way that hasn't happened since the late 1800s. And that's because we also will see Jupiter activating your fifth house, and it's such a glow up. So suddenly you're going to be creative, inspired, entrepreneurial. You might be having glow up in love, children, pregnancy, fertility, and romantic love. You might have a super glow up in 25. And this is starting in June, by the way, June 9th of 25 to June 30th of 26. When it comes to fertility, including becoming a grandparent or you becoming pregnant, entrepreneurial, creative, and artistic endeavors flourish under this transit. And the success is unlike any you've ever seen before, because Jupiter brings exalted success to the fifth house. Yes, you had the success here, 2013, 14th, June to June, but not with the North Node moving through your sign. Now, you have to pull away from your marriage partner, your audience, your marketplace. It's not about them. Don't focus exclusively on them. Single Pisces might meet someone, but married Pisces, soulmate someone, will be challenged. And some of you may disconnect and leave long-term love stories in 25 into mid-26. Just know that to be true. I can't change the sky. It's a South Node transit through the seventh house of marriage. Now, one thing I want to mention just really briefly, because we're going to pull a card for you, is that you've had some luck with your home, right? Jupiter's been in the fourth house since last year. Third week of May 25th, leaves there on June the 9th, but he's been retrograding. And if you want to make decisions around buying and selling home or expanding your home or building an extra addition to your home, and you've been unsure about it, that's because he's been pulling back the drawstring of those choices and decisions and like pulling it back. Starting on October 9th, and wait till February 1st before making any action decisions around home, land, property, and real estate. Jupiter here is trying to bring joy, expansion, fun, and growth to the expansion to your home, but he can expand the children in your home. So we're back to fertility, pregnancy stories, even before he gets into your fifth house. You could conceive a child before June 9th and have the child or grandchild being born June 9th out a year. So there's those stories there as well. All said and done, it's a pivotal year of change because of the nodal axis. It can change your home, it can change your career, it can change your long-term relationship status, and it definitely changes who you are and who you think you are in your life. From my Awakened Dreamer Oracle deck, this girl's ready to take a nice hike and get some exercise. What do we have for you? For my Awakened Dreamer, oh my God, I woke up at 9 o'clock after 10 hours of sleep. Like, you cannot make this shit up. Excuse my language. Wonderstruck. How can you find innocence, awe, and wonder? Jupiter is in the house of innocence, awe, and wonder, because he moves into your fifth house of children, but also innocence, vitality, childlike wonder, being a kid again, delighted with life, inspired, enthusiastic, fifth house energies. Jupiter will exalt you in that way. with support from the North Node. And this really picks up June 9th out a year. Wonderstruck is a picture, I believe, that was taken by my friend Marlin, the one whose other deck we're about to use next. Marlin has passed away, so we honor her spirit by pulling a few of her creative homemade cards for us today. And as I feel into it, I'm asking what is the best card to give you some information or understanding. And it's interesting, it's a deeply spiritual card, the 10 of Wands. You know, you can't have a North Node transit through the house of Pisces with Jupiter in the fifth without getting some kind of Wands, spirituality, inspiration, energy going. And 10 of Wands is a time which you have to push through or level up or move on to a completion and beginning archetype. Tens always bring in both the energy of something that's already closed up behind you or closing, as well as the energy of the wand, something that's beginning. And there's a girl doing a yoga meditation kind of pose there. There's a spiral seashell. There's a rat on a treadmill. You don't want to be that rat on a treadmill. Someone going, oh no, I have to figure this out. Right, look at that. And Jupiter is guru. And Jupiter is a dispeller of darkness, wisdom, and knowledge. And he's flowing from the fifth house of wonder and awe. So there's a lot going on about breaking through as a Pisces to some new level, to something that you haven't yet reached on the spiritual, inspired, inspirational wands plane of reality. Wands are fire. They want you to initiate you in the baptism of some fire for some definite spiritual up level. Let's take a look at the Bill Ellis Bible. And Pluto in Aquarius is in your super moksha house of Buddhahood. So yes, that's that card as well. Phil Ellis, what do you have to say for the Pisces of the world? Do they need to know something? This is beautiful. This is the Rumi section, and I opened right here. The breezes at dawn have secrets to tell. Don't go back to sleep. Ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are moving back and forth across the threshold where two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. That's not bad for that Pluto in your 12th. But I'm going to read the next one that reminds me of the Wonderstruck, the Jupiter in the fifth house energy that you're coming into with that flow to the node of fate that hasn't happened in your life and won't happen again. You weren't alive in 1895, right? Or something like that. Dance as though no one is watching. Sing as though no one can hear you. Work as though you don't need the money. And live as though heaven is on earth. Can't beat Rumi. Everything about Rumi, you can't beat Rumi. All right. That's it, guys. I think I'm stopping. Thank you for listening to my top 10 predictions for 2025 in the intro. Hopefully you caught wind of the intro and the segment where I talk about this being a World 9 year and how that means there's something that might close or end, but you're also acting like the hermit with the lantern, looking for deep spiritual wisdom and truth. And Mars is governing the world, which is, yes, war, but ending, cutting, and severing. The ends of wars, in my humble opinion, as I said, the Ukraine war is ending. You'll notice I didn't touch Gaza with a 10-foot pole. I'll be talking about that in another video. It's complicated. All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification. This is Vancouver on a dreary day. It's kind of dreary, but you can see the city. There's my ring light. I decided I need it because it's getting dark halfway through my recording. There we go. That's the city, guys. This is where I live. Yeah. There you go. All right. Thanks. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.